drilling, the more information we get.
Yeah, that's right.
If you encounter something and you say, hey, this is unusual, please let Scott or myself or someone know. And maybe we have to readjust the plan.
Oak Island has been hiding its secrets for over 2 centuries. But this season, the mystery has exploded into something far bigger than anyone ever imagined. Rick Lagina and his team are staring down the find of a lifetime. A vault so massive, so valuable, it could hold over $100 million in treasure. Stay with us, because what's happening on that island right now is nothing short of history in the making. And if you love these deep dives into Oak Island's secrets, make sure to like this video and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single breakthrough. It begins in the dead of night. The crew digs deeper into the infamous money pit, expecting another dead end. But instead, the drill bites into timber supports sealed for more than 4 centuries. The sound echoes like a hollow drum, metallic and eerie, vibrating up through the earth as if something colossal waits below. When soil samples are pulled, the entire camp goes silent, because mixed into the dirt are flakes of gold leaf, fused into ancient oak beams, proof that human hands once buried wealth here. Seismic scans confirm what the legends have whispered for centuries. A cavernous chamber, nearly the size of a chapel, lies 180 feet down. Tension spikes instantly. Could this be the legendary vault? The one Oak Island has guarded for generations, holding a fortune now estimated at $100 million. For Rick Lagina, this moment isn't about luck. It's about obsession. He's poured nearly $15 million of his own dollars into this island, financing years of excavation, pumping his life into an impossible dream. And now, he says, the search has reached its point of no return. Either they uncover history, or they walk away broken. Skeptics laugh, dismissing the quest as fantasy, but Rick stands firm. The data is undeniable, he insists. This isn't just gold fever. This is destiny. From the first time he read about Oak Island as a boy in Reader's Digest, Rick has felt called to this place, as though the island itself chose him to finish the story. And the clues keep building. Among the mud and debris, a fragment of parchment is recovered, faint, worn by centuries, but bearing a clear mark, the fleur-de-lis. Historians on site are stunned. That royal symbol was once the mark of French power, the seal of kings. Coupled with the gold traces already tested at 22-carat purity, the evidence points not just to random wealth, but to treasure tied to European crowns themselves. Whispers ripple through the crew. Could this be the missing royal gold smuggled out of France during its darkest days? Early estimates suggest the chamber could contain tens of thousands of coins, bars, and relics, a cache valued at over $100 million. Yet the true worth may be even greater. Collectors quietly suggest the discovery could rival King Tut's tomb in historical significance, rewriting the very story of treasure on North American soil. But the evidence doesn't stop with gold flakes and ancient symbols. Ancient maps, once dismissed as curiosities, are now proving to be more than legend. In a dimly lit research tent, cryptographers hunch over a brittle manuscript nearly 700 years old, its pages filled with complex Templar ciphers. After weeks of decoding, a sequence of hidden numbers emerges, numbers that, when aligned, point directly to the heart of Oak Island's infamous money pit. The coincidence is too exact to ignore. For generations, skeptics argued the island was simply a sinkhole littered with random debris, but this cipher changes everything. When these coordinates are overlaid on modern survey maps, the alignment is precise to the foot. For Rick Lagina, this is the validation he has craved, history itself whispering, "You are digging in the right place." The revelations continue mounting. Stonemasons on the island re-examine markers scattered across the terrain. Slabs with grooves, weather-worn boulders etched with faint lines. When mapped, the stones mirror the constellations above, specifically Orion's belt, pointing like arrows toward the dig site. Ancient engineering or coincidence? For some, it's irrefutable evidence the island was deliberately reshaped as a coded landscape, a Templar stronghold disguised as wilderness. The possibility electrifies the team. If Oak Island was intentionally designed as a vault, the scale of the treasure within could be unlike anything buried in the New World. Rick calls the convergence of data, symbols, and science the clearest trail of evidence we've ever had. A rare statement of certainty from a man normally careful with his words. Then the island itself seems to push back. As drilling deepens into the chamber, the ground groans, and suddenly a roar of seawater explodes into the shaft. For years, the infamous flood tunnels have remained dormant, a ghost story more than a threat. But now, it is clear they are very real. Water gushes upward in violent torrents, cold, salty, unstoppable, threatening to drown the machinery and undo months of progress in seconds. Panic ripples through the site as engineers scramble. Massive pumps are rushed in, roaring to life, fighting to hold back the Atlantic Ocean itself. The crew realizes they aren't just contending with geology. They are battling human ingenuity, defenses designed centuries ago by builders who intended no one to ever reach this vault. Rick stands at the edge of the shaft, soaked in spray, and mutters, "This isn't a dig anymore. This is a battle against the people who built this." The words hang heavy, a reminder that every step closer to treasure is matched by danger left behind by men long dead but still in control. The sophistication of the trap system shocks even modern engineers. The flood tunnels, carved through layers of stone and clay, still function with precision centuries later. Channels funnel water directly into the dig site, using natural pressure from the ocean. Some compare it to 18th century naval engineering, others to medieval siege defenses. How could such systems have been built in secret, on a remote island off Nova Scotia, without leaving records in the annals of history? The very existence of these mechanisms suggests immense resources and knowledge possessed only by elite orders or royal patrons. And if so much effort was taken to guard what lies beneath, the treasure's magnitude must be even greater than the legends suggest. With the site under siege from water, outside experts are brought in to make sense of what they're uncovering. Metallurgists flown in from Europe examine the gold traces recovered in earlier samples. Their conclusion is startling. The composition aligns with coinage minted between the 14th and 16th centuries. This isn't pirate loot or random smuggling. It's wealth tied to European kingdoms at the height of their power. Meanwhile, the salt-preserved oak beams brought up from the depths are analyzed by dendrochronologists. The wood grain matches timber harvested in regions of Spain and France during the same period, linking the construction of the vault to Old World maritime expertise. Historians dig into Nova Scotia's archives and unearth cryptic references to mysterious ships docking in the region during the 1700s, vessels that appeared and vanished without record of cargo. These ghostly entries hint at secret expeditions, potentially tied to the hiding or maintenance of the Oak Island vault. The possibility grows that Oak Island was more than a random deposit site. It may have been an integral node in a transatlantic network of secrecy, royal families, Templar remnants, or perhaps even shadow organizations moving assets across oceans. Archaeologists add weight to the theory, arguing that the construction techniques observed underground mirror clandestine vaults in Portugal and hidden crypts in France. It is as if Oak Island was transplanted from Europe stone by stone, a colonial-era outpost engineered to secure a prize beyond value. Taken together, the evidence paints a staggering picture. This is not a myth spun from campfire tales, but a structured operation centuries in the making. The collective conclusion, shared quietly among the assembled experts, is sobering. The vault, if fully accessed, could hold treasure appraised not just in the tens of millions, but realistically exceeding $100 million. Gold bars, coins, relics, perhaps artifacts of royal and religious origin. Wealth so vast it would rival national reserves. For Rick Lagina and his crew, the pressure intensifies with every passing day. Rick stands on the edge of the excavation site, shoulders heavy with years of sacrifice. He confesses to his crew, and later to the cameras, that the search has nearly broken him. Decades of investment, not just in money, but in time, health, and personal life, hang over him like the damp Nova Scotia fog. His eyes cloud with memory as he recalls the moment. As a boy, when he first read that now famous Reader's Digest article about Oak Island. It was a story that captured his imagination and never let go, a fire that burned long before he had the means to chase it. Now standing here, watching pumps fight the ocean and hearing the roar of machinery clash with silence of the past, Rick knows the island has taken nearly everything from him. His voice cracks as he admits, "This island, it's taken everything. But maybe it's finally ready to give back." The crew is struck by the rare display of vulnerability. To them, Rick has always been a rock, the calm center of the storm. But here, at the brink of what could be a $100 million breakthrough, he reveals the cost of obsession. Marty Lagina, who has always played the role of skeptic and businessman, admits on camera that his brother's drive is something beyond reason. He describes Rick's focus as unshakable, like a man chasing destiny, not gold. While everyone around them tallies the value of coins, bars, and relics, Rick is clear, the $100 million figure doesn't drive him. Money fades. What matters is proving that the legend is real, that Oak Island isn't a story of hoaxes and empty pits, but a truth buried under centuries of earth and deception. His pursuit is less about treasure and more about vindication, about closing the circle on a mystery that has outlived generations. But even as Rick grapples with his personal crossroads, the outside world is taking notice in ways the team never anticipated. Word leaks from the island, whispered first in obscure treasure forums and then blasted across mainstream headlines. Oak Island team closes in on $100 million vault, screams one outlet. Almost overnight, the world is watching. Twitter trends ignite as people speculate wildly. Was it pirate gold? Was it a Templar treasury spirited away from Europe? Was it the lost fortune of French royalty hidden before the revolution? Hashtags like hashtag Oak Island Treasure and hashtag Rick Lagina find surge across social media. Reddit threads explode with theories, some weaving elaborate timelines of European migration, others connecting Oak Island to Freemason rituals or the Knights Templars' hidden maps. The attention is no longer niche. CNN dispatches a crew to Nova Scotia. The BBC circles with interest, preparing coverage as if Oak Island is a breaking geopolitical event. Treasure hunters from around the world, some amateurs, some seasoned, begin plotting their own expeditions, convinced the Laginas have finally broken the code. For the first time, the dig feels less like a reality television series and more like a global cultural phenomenon. People debate it in coffee shops, in classrooms, on late-night talk shows. The notion that a vault worth $100 million, loaded with history-altering artifacts, could be unearthed in real time grips the imagination of millions. And with every leak, every photograph of soil samples, every rumor of gold traces, the stakes rise. As if on cue, technology provides answers that history never could. Ground-penetrating radar sweeps across the dig zone, and the monitors glow with precision outlines. A rectangular chamber emerges in the scans, vast and deliberate, larger than most crypts found beneath Europe's oldest cathedrals. The dimensions alone are staggering, 40 by 20 feet, reinforced by timbers thicker than ship masts. It isn't nature's work, it's architecture, designed to last. The team leans in as metallic density scans follow. The readings flare with intensity, showing anomalies consistent with mass gold storage. The numbers don't lie. What's below is dense, metallic, and highly reflective. Artificial intelligence modeling is brought in to cross-compare the data. The algorithms match the Oak Island chamber's size and proportions with known Templar vaults in Portugal and southern France. The resemblance is uncanny. Could it be that the very same minds that carved crypts for knights and kings in Europe sailed across the Atlantic to engineer a mirror vault in the New World? The possibility ignites the imagination, suggesting a lineage of knowledge that spanned continents. Then drones take to the skies, scanning the island from above. What they reveal is something no one expected. In the swamp, long dismissed as a natural formation, subtle geometric patterns come into focus when seen at the right angles. Perfect circles, intersecting lines, shapes too precise to be random. When overlaid with historical diagrams, the patterns bear resemblance to coded Templar symbols, compasses, crosses, and star alignments hidden in plain sight. For centuries, the swamp had been a distraction, a red herring. Now it appears to have been part of the plan, a coded surface marker pointing to the truth below. The blend of cutting-edge science and centuries-old legend electrifies the crew. For the first time, myth and mathematics stand side by side, confirming each other rather than contradicting. To Rick and his team, it feels as though history is speaking in two voices at once. The voice of ancient builders who left their marks in stone and soil, and the voice of modern technology powerful enough to finally decode them. The chamber is there. The treasure is real. And the island, for all its resistance, is slowly yielding its secrets. The barrier gave way with a grinding crack, stone shifting as the drills punch through centuries of resistance. For a moment, there was silence, then a piercing hiss as compressed air, trapped since the vault was first sealed, escaped with a ghostly whistle. It wasn't just sound, it was atmosphere from another century bleeding into the present, thick with the smell of damp stone and something metallic that no one could mistake. Flashlights swept across the darkness, and eyes widened at once. Reflections danced back, tiny flashes of yellow glint, faint but undeniable, shimmering like sparks hidden in the black. No one spoke for a beat too long, and then, in a single wave, gasps echoed through the shaft. Whispers spread across the crew, faster than anyone could contain. It's there. It's real. We've found it. Radios buzzed as security rushed in, doubling the perimeter in minutes. Guards scanned the tree line, as though some invisible enemy might storm the site the moment the truth became known. This wasn't paranoia, it was recognition. If the rumors proved true, this was no ordinary discovery. This was a $100 million vault, a treasure whose existence could change history itself. Standing at the edge, hands trembling, Rick Lagina leaned forward, his face pale, but his eyes alive with fire. When he finally spoke, his voice cracked, like a man who had just witnessed a miracle. "It's real. We found it." The footage spread like lightning. Even before a single artifact had been catalogued, historians began weighing in. Experts from across the world drew lines of connection, as though a puzzle had suddenly revealed its missing piece. Some claimed the markings glimpsed on a half-buried stone slab matched inventory symbols from Marie Antoinette's personal collection. The jewels said to vanish during the French Revolution. Could this chamber contain the Queen's jewels, spirited away across the Atlantic as France fell into chaos? Others pointed to Spain. The weight of the treasure, the construction of the chamber, and the engineering of the flood tunnels all bore eerie similarities to methods employed during the Spanish Armada. What if ships, battered and broken in stormy seas, offloaded their cargo here in secret, entrusting Oak Island to keep it safe for centuries? The implications snowballed into something beyond the treasure itself. If verified, this was evidence Europeans had been burying and protecting treasure in America, decades, even centuries, before Columbus ever landed. The accepted timeline of exploration, colonization, and trade would be shattered. Governments took notice. In hushed tones, Canada, France, and Spain began preparing legal groundwork to stake claims on whatever was inside. Ownership of a single gold cross might be debated in courtrooms for years, but ownership of an entire chamber, that was international history at stake. Economists added their voices, suggesting that cultural value alone could inflate the treasure's worth into the hundreds of millions. Museums, private collectors, and entire nations would line up, their bids not only about money, but prestige. Through it all, Rick never spoke of wealth. He stood before cameras and said only one thing: "It's never been about the money. It's about truth, the truth hidden here." His words cut through the storm of speculation. This was not just gold. This was validation. Decades of obsession culminating in proof. The chamber was real. The legends were real. Oak Island had finally spoken. But the island wasn't finished testing them. Just as the opening widened, as cameras and drills pressed for a first clear look into the heart of the vault, the ground betrayed them. A surge of seawater burst through unseen fissures, slamming into the shaft with terrifying force. Pumps roared, engines strained, but the Atlantic itself was pouring in faster than any machine could fight. Mud churned, walls quaked, and panic ripped through the crew. Orders flew in every direction. Pull back the hoses, save the equipment, salvage what you can before the site is lost. In moments, the vault that had just revealed itself became a watery death trap. Yet in chaos, fragments emerged. Workers hauled sodden debris onto the surface, desperate to keep something, anything, from vanishing back into the depths. From the muck, they pulled shapes, twisted metal, shards of wood, and then something that silenced the frenzy once more. Cradled in mud, gleaming even under caked dirt, lay a golden cross. Its arms were thick, its edges lined with emeralds, their green stones glinting like fire through centuries of grime. Gasps echoed again, louder this time. Field appraisers wasted no time. This wasn't a trinket. Even at a glance, it was royal craftsmanship. Experts whispered a figure, at least $5 million for the piece alone. If one cross sat at the chamber's edge, what waited deeper inside? Was this a mere ornament tossed aside, or part of a hoard of sacred relics, each more priceless than the last? Cameras zoomed in on Rick's face, his expression etched with exhaustion, awe, and something close to heartbreak. For him, This was proof undeniable, but it was also torment. They had found the treasure, and yet Oak Island had stolen it back before their eyes. His voice, low and raw, carried into the chaos. We are closer than anyone has ever been, but Oak Island isn't done testing us. The water raged below as if the island itself was laughing at their efforts. The crew retreated, mud clinging to their boots, machines faltering. The cross locked tight in protective cases. They had proof, yes, but not possession. As cameras panned into the opening one last time, lights cut through the swirling water just enough to reveal what lay beyond, a glimpse of impossible wealth. Stacks of gold bars, neat piles of coins, objects that shimmered like sunken fire. A fortune glittered just beyond the barrier, taunting, undeniable, but unreachable. The chamber was real, the treasure was real, but the island had one final word: not yet.